In this video, I'm going to show you a very effective and easy way to handle responses to open-ended survey questions. These are any questions in your survey that have a text box for respondents to type responses. These types of responses can range from 1 word to 100, sometimes more. If you have multiple open-ended questions in your survey that elicit long responses and you get a good response rate in your survey, you're going to have a lot of reading and analysis to do. Work like this can sometimes take teams of analysts over a week to complete for just one survey. This type of qualitative data analysis takes so long because the researcher has a number of tedious jobs to do. First, the researcher has to read and understand what each response is getting at. Second, each response should be coded or simplified into a word or couple of words. After reading and coding each individual response, the reader has to count how many comments fall into each code or category, and then the summarized information must be presented in an easy-to-digest format. Typically, a table works for this. There are many ways to go about completing these steps, but in this video I'll show you a way I've found to save many hours in this process. This simple spreadsheet I've created automates everything after the coding process. If you don't want to purchase a spreadsheet, this video will still show you how to go about handling this type of qualitative data. So let's get started. The first thing you'll do is pull the data from your survey program. It'll typically come out in a spreadsheet like this. And as you can see, the questions are in the first couple of rows, and the responses to those questions are in the columns beneath. Our first open-ended question here is, in your opinion, what is the meaning of life? And we'll analyze this using the analysis spreadsheet. But first, we will want to delete any extra cells here. So as you can see, this is a blank cell on top that just comes out automatically with the survey program when you do the data pull. So we'll delete that. And the reason for that is we could highlight these with just a few responses, but if you have 1,000 responses in there, you'll want to be able to highlight the entire row. And you just copy it and paste it into the analysis spreadsheet. Now it may change your cell width. You can just open it back up. And now you're ready to begin coding. It's as simple as that. You have your question at the top here and all the responses beneath. Now for the coding. When you code, you're trying to find a word or a few words that summarize the intent and the meaning of the comment. Take the first comment here. Respondent said, "The meaning of life is being happy." I would code this with the word happy or happiness, since that is the main idea that the respondent is trying to get across. To code this, just type the word happy in the cell next to the comment. Okay, and then you're just going to read all of the other comments and do the same thing all the way down. All right, the second response is, "I have no idea what the meaning of life is." So we could code that as, "I don't know." I'm not too sure about this one. Again, I don't know. Okay, and as you can see, our table over here is starting to populate. It'll start to capture all those. Once you get a few down, you'll see happy come over there as well. All right, just being happy. All right, life has no meaning. All right, so that one's probably new, so we can just call it no meaning. I don't know. What kind of question is this? I would say I don't know again. No one knows. I would again call that I don't know. Okay, so now we're done coding all of the responses to this question here. Okay, now for the table. If you don't purchase a spreadsheet, you can create a table like this by sorting the code row and counting up how many comments were coded into each category. And then you'll have to do some arithmetic to calculate what percentage of responses were coded into each category. One thing that you want to keep in mind if you do that is that you'll be a little more prone to error because you're hand calculating your percentages. It can be a little tedious and take some time, and you'll be prone to error. So just make sure that you double check your work to make sure it's accurate. But as it is, all we have left to do is fill in the examples here. So why do we have an example? If you just look at the table without the example, you'll see The question that was asked was, in your opinion, what's the meaning of life? And then you have these categories of responses. I don't know is one of the categories. And 4 people said, I don't know. And that's 57% of all respondents said, I don't know. That one's pretty straightforward, but happy is kind of vague. Someone looking at your table here might wonder, what do you mean by happy? So you want to put an example here to explain what that means. And what you can do is just take an example from your respondents. So this respondent said, just being happy, that's it. And that kind of helps to clarify what that means. Let's see if the other one might be better. The meaning of life is being happy. Yeah, I think that one would be a perfect one to use as an example. So we'll just copy that, paste it in here. I paste values to keep the formatting the same. And then you can do the same with all the others. I don't know. Um, let's see, let's find a good one for that. I have no idea what the meaning of life is. Okay, that one's pretty straightforward. So we'll use that one. And then no meaning. Okay, we only had one person that said that life has no meaning. So we're going to use that response for the example there. Now your table is complete. You can copy this table and put it into your manuscript if you're um, writing a paper. It's an APA format, but in the end, you've taken these responses and gleaned it down to just 3 different categories. And if you have 1,000 responses to this question and you have maybe 15 categories here, that's a lot more digestible than going through and reading, especially if your respondents wrote 100-word answers to your question. So what you're really doing is taking all of the work that you used in reading all of these responses and condensing it down into a table so somebody else can have that information with a lot less time investment. Okay, let's do one more question to give you another example and just to kind of recap what we just did. Also, we can show you how quickly this process can really go. So as you can see, we have everything completed on this page. So we just go to our next tab down here, and this is the way I'll typically organize it. First question will go on the first tab, second question on the second tab. You can even name the tabs whatever the question is or some quick keyword so you know exactly what's on each tab. So open up the second tab there, and then we'll open up our data poll and delete that first extraneous cell there. Copy this entire column. And then paste it. And as you can see, the question went right here. Then we can begin coding it. So the question is, why do you think the sky is blue? The first person says it has to do with water droplets in the atmosphere. Okay, there's a couple of things there, water and atmosphere. Let's keep reading to see if we catch any more themes that are similar. Something with the atmosphere and the sun's light being refracted. Okay, we've got 2 with atmosphere, so I'm going to start calling these atmosphere just so we have a common theme. Okay. All right, this person says there's a big pale blue piece of glass up there. All right. May not see that theme too much, but okay. Another atmosphere, light refracting through the atmosphere. Oops. Another atmosphere. Oh, everyone says it's the atmosphere. Okay. So again, we've got our table here. Everything automatically sorted, so the most frequent one is on top. Most people says the atmosphere. Why do you think the sky is blue? Atmosphere. People are going to want to know what that means, so we're going to want to put our example in there. I think this one is a pretty good one. Oops. Just paste values so make sure the formatting stays the same. Okay, and then The blue glass one, that's the only one, so we'll use that one for the example. Okay, and as you can see, it's all done now. The coding is completed. We didn't have to go through and do any sort of calculations or anything or sort this table out. It all just automatically came out in APA format, and it's ready to be pasted into your document. So that is how you go about doing qualitative coding, and I hope that you enjoy and that you save lots of time with this spreadsheet.